Welcome to the Stop Losing Women podcast, where it's all about learning how to keep a girl like me interested for the long haul, if you think you can handle it. And now, here's your host, Harry Wilmington.
I want to talk about sexualizing your woman and why it is that some women that you date will feel some kind of way about you trying to sexualize her. And actually, it's funny. I thought about this because in my lifetime, I've dated a fair share of women, and I'm married now. And it's interesting the times when, me and my wife will be together in that way. And it makes me think back on times when I was with previous people, there were times where I would date some women where, obviously if you're a guy, you're going to be attracted to them for a variety of reasons, whether it's you have good conversation together, they have a funny laugh, they look cute. But a lot of it, just being real, when you first start dating a woman, is because you think she looks very attractive. She's got the curves that you like. She's got heaving bosom. She's got a nice butt, whether it's small, whether it's big, whether it's whatever. You like the curves on her. And that is a very normal thing. It is natural as a guy to be attracted to a woman initially because of how she looks. There's nothing wrong with that. Unfortunately, a lot of women have grown up with the narrative that men are solely about sex and that men are going to try to use them for their body. They don't care about the woman's brain. They don't care about her thoughts and feelings on things. They don't care about how she is as a person. They only want her for her body. And so women that have grown up with this mindset, obviously they've been told that is a toxic way of being. If a man is trying to get you at all for the purposes of having sex and using your body, that in effect, that's what he's doing, is trying to use you for his own pleasure and not for the fact that he just wants to be with you as a person and cares about your character and stuff like that. Now, this is obviously a lie. And to be fair to women, some men are like that. They just want to just get their rocks off and go home. But the majority of men out there, they have sexual urges and desires, which are perfectly healthy and normal. And they do want a woman they find attractive. But that only lasts for so long. You as a guy know, after you've seen a woman 5 or 6 times naked, it's not a surprise anymore where her stuff is and what it looks like and whatnot. And so we know that you have to like a woman beyond just what she brings to the looks department, because those are eventually going to fade. However hot she is now is probably the peak of the hotness she's ever going to have, because A, you're going to get used to her. And also, as she gets older, more things are going to be added to her, wrinkles and spots of all kinds and stuff like that, right? So we know that. But the woman you're dating may not know that, because again, if she grew up in a situation where she was only taught that men want her for her body, she could have a chip on her shoulder. And so this is where we get into the situation where you meet a woman and you like her, and, initially she likes the fact that you find her attractive, you're taking her out, having a good time, right? At the point that you guys actually hook up, though, there are a lot of women who suddenly get into the mind frame of wait a minute, we're hooking up. And then what'll happen is this, is that if she really likes it, you guys are going to start hooking up a whole lot, pretty frequently. And there's going to come a point where she's going to start thinking that because you guys are hooking up so much, and somewhere in her brain, she's thinking that must really be the only reason that you're trying to see her, is that she's giving you access to the box frequently, and that you must not like other things about her. Now, some women will try to test this. They'll try to say hey, maybe we should slow down, or, you'll come over one day and you'll try to get things started, and she'll be like, oh, well, I'm on my period, or I just think we should just cuddle today, or I had a really stressful day, or whatever, right? And more often than not, she's doing that to test you. She's just trying to see that you like her for her and that you'll stick around regardless of if you guys are hooking up. Now, the easiest way to pass this test is to just be okay, well, we can still hang out. It is what it is. I'm just here to get to know you in whatever capacity. If we happen to hook up today, great. If not, that's also fine. I find for most normal women, because most women are going to at some point test you just because they're in their head about having all this sex and liking it and feeling like maybe you're about just her looks. But usually after that one test where you say, hey, we can still hang out, it's whatever, most normal women will be like, oh, okay, So he likes me for me. It's not just because we're hooking up. Okay, great. Now let's keep hooking up. That's what a normal woman will do. But there is a fair set of women, yet and still, that she gives you that test and you pass it. And then you notice that you'll try to do things like compliments her on her body or say post-sexual, like, oh yeah, those curves look really, really great, or you got such a nice butt or whatever. And she'll still be going on and on about, you're just trying to sexualize me, or, hey, I have more than just my body. My brain's also, really great too. And I have thoughts and this and that. And understand, those kind of women are severely damaged. Those are the women that probably either got touched as a kid or they were like the hot girl. And so growing up, everybody always compliments them on their looks. And therefore, when you do it, it doesn't come across as like a compliment. It just comes across as, oh, great. He's talking about my looks just like every other guy does. And that means that he still secretly really cares more about my looks than about me, and et cetera, right? And, I don't have the experience of being a hot woman, so I don't understand what that is. But this is also why, by the way, when I was dating and I come across really attractive women, I would never, ever compliment them on their looks. One, because I know they're thinking I had nothing to do with this. And so those compliments do just kind of go by the wayside. But also it's because I didn't want her to think that I was there to be her suck up guy and be the guy that's like, drooling over her looks when, again, I know they're eventually going to fade. And I also know this is all facade. All this up, all the hotness that you think she has is a facade. And she knows it, especially women that group around like men, like had brothers and a father and stuff like that. They know they were getting teased as a kid and being called nicknames for, the weird tooth that they had or the weird way that they walked or whatever. So they're used to growing up being around guys that weren't sucking up to them for the most part. Obviously some women, they get called their daddy's little princess and stuff like that. But most women have had male cousins, a brother of some kind that was like making fun of them and letting them know they weren't the hot business, right? And so most women grow up with that. So when you come along and try to compliment them about their looks all the time, that's why women think this is suspect. Like, what the freak's going on? But anyway, so all this to say, but yeah, so for women though, that are going to just constantly be like, every time you try to compliment them on how they look or that you like some part of their body, or let's say, they're walking around at your house and you're just kind of staring at them like they're hot and they get insulted by that, or they want to say like, hey, eyes up here, all this other stuff. Understand that is not going to be a fun relationship to be in. Like, I have been in those situations where a woman felt some kind of way about her body and she was, nervous and apprehensive. And so anytime I would try to compliment them or look at them some kind of way where I thought they were sexy, because again, I'm dating them, we've hooked up, we've had sex. So of course I find them sexy and attractive, but looking at them that certain way, it would make them very uncomfortable. And I just found a few things. Either A woman went through trauma, B, she grew up as a late bloomer. And so by the time she started having sex, she was like 29 or 30 years old. Yeah, some women actually wait a long time. And with that, they have a stigma about how much they should be accepting that their body is actually a sexualized thing and that it's okay for men that actually like them to like the totality of them, including liking their breast and liking their butt and liking their vagina and liking how they look and smell and all this other stuff. They're not used to that. And so the later bloomer that they are, the less time they've had to hear that kind of stuff and to be accepting of themselves, that they can be somebody that is both smart and has character and has a brain, and can also be somebody that is desired by men in a sexualized way. And those women, I find, have been the hardest to deal with because they're always going to be questioning you and second guessing about, are you there for them or because they're giving you access to their body? And that's going to cause a lot of stress for you. And that's one of those things that you can't really, I guess over time, if you really want to wait and try to test it out, you can try to get a woman to the point where she realizes, hey, I am sexy. This guy does like me for my body, but also likes me for my brain. If you spend enough time with a woman, she can eventually get there. I just found there are more than enough women out there that already accept that they're sexual beings and aren't going to be insulted by the fact that you find them attractive and want to occasionally stare at them and you want to touch their boobs half the time and all this other stuff. Like, there are women out there like that. And so why fight and hope and pray that the woman you're with will eventually become that woman when you could just find a woman that already is fine with that? Like, there are plenty of women out there that will already be on this thing of like, I know a guy will like me for both my brain and my booty. And you know what? I'm fine with either of those things. I'm not going to chastise a guy for liking me just because I have a hot butt. Like, I mean, not just, like, it's not going to be just. Obviously, you're going to like her for more than that. But, like, seriously, like, women out there that are insulted by that are really ones that are going to give you a hard time and make you feel guilty. And you know what? you don't need to feel guilty for liking a woman based on what you're naturally inclined to like about a woman. So as men, we're naturally inclined to like a woman's curves. We're naturally inclined to like a woman's butt. We're naturally inclined to like her breasts. We're naturally inclined to like the feeling tone of a woman because her body is different than ours. And so you getting punished for that, that is a sign of an unhealthy woman that has her own thing going on up here. And I'd say I'm personally of the camp that it's not worth dealing with. You might be a guy that has the patience and is like, hey, this might be my only shot. I know she loves me and she knows that I like her for her brain and she feels some kind of way about me trying to sexualize her. And I just got to try to hide that. And that eventually leads to a woman that's going to be like, you know what? I really need to prove to myself that this guy doesn't just like me for my body. And so therefore I'm going to just cut back on sex altogether. And that's going to be the one that starts to kind of like hold back. And every time you try to like start something up, she's going to be the one that's like, are you just in this for the sex? At which point, dude, you're in for a world of hurt. So that's just my thoughts on that. Ultimately, a healthy woman is going to understand that it's okay to sexualize her. And also, as a guy, you also are cool being sexualized. The woman I'm with, she likes, the curve of my butt. She likes the way my skin looks, my body looks. Even me balding up here, she likes the fact that it shows that I'm older. Like, again, it's perfectly fine for both sexes to be sexualizing each other based on what that sex finds attractive. If she has an issue with that, that is her issue, not your issue. But if you stay and you let it be your issue, you can't complain. I always tell you guys, you got to take women as they are. So if you have a woman that is effectively saying, I don't like it when men sexualize me, that's who she is. You got to deal with that. And if you choose to stay, it's your issue. So if you don't want it to be your issue, consider that she's messed up and find somebody else. But anyway, hopefully you got something out of this message. If you like what you're hearing and you want to get some coaching, go to stoplosingwomen.com, sign up for one-on-one coaching. You can also go there to get free access to my Get Girls Academy. It houses my best video courses as well as ebooks and audiobooks, all designed to help you figure out the ins and outs of your dating life so you can start getting the results that you want. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I will catch you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Stop Losing Women podcast. See you later, big boy.